Hello there. Welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. I am your host, Jarod the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs. This is episode 55. We still haven't fixed the intros yet. We're working on it, I promise. But we have a very, very special episode, one I'm very excited for this week, guys. We are going to be talking about the High Republic, the story so far. And this week, I am joined very appropriately by Conor, the Lord Keeper Chikiti.
Hello there, everyone. I hope you all have had a solid week and solid weekend so far. We're just going to be diving into the first three novels of the High Republic, Light of the Jedi, Test of Courage, and Into the Dark. Two of which I've read, one of which I haven't, but we'll keep it going. We're going to be talking spoilers here. So if you haven't read them, I would highly recommend not listening to this episode until after you've read all three books. So,
big agree with Conor on that one. And joining us this week, if you caught Bombad Cast Live, I feel everybody knows the secret algorithm that works between the Nerd Academy and Beyond the Blast Doors. That if one of us ends up on one show, the other one is going to be on the other show by the end of the week. And this week is no exception. We have the father-mucking Canon Junky, Gerry of the Bombad Cast.
Hey, what's up, boys? How's it going? I feel like it's been so long since I've been on Nerd Academy, but I feel at home every time I'm here. And so it's good to be home. That's all I got to say. It's good to be home again.
I am honored. We are all honored.
All time.
That the Nerd Academy is your second home.
I see I keep running people away, though. It's just you two this time, so, it's okay. Eventually Travis and I are going to meet again, but it's sadly not going to be until probably Celebration when he's full-on Poe regalia or something, I'm guessing.
Listen, we end up only having Travis on to talk about a handful of things on nights anymore, just because the schedules are so hard, and now with all the other shows, it's even harder.
It's no excuse. It's no excuse.
He loves being on nights, and I feel bad that some of the only episodes he's on anymore is mostly to just shit on the fandom menace. And I said the words, and we're not going to do it on this episode. Not that they don't.
They who shall not be named.
Who?
They who shall not date.
Yeah, because we have other shit to talk about this week. But don't worry,
important shit.
Will be a news roundup, and we are going to talk about hey, it's Valentine's Day. It's to honor Valentine's Day. I want to tell you guys about my new favorite Star Wars ship.
Oh, I'm interested.
Nina Carano on the unemployment line. All right, moving on. We address.
Oh, boom, 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 boom. No. She's not in the unemployment line. She's just in the employment line that no one wants to be in if you want to have a successful career.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I came up with that joke before we found out she's been hired by Ben Shapiro for the True Allegiance movie adaptation, I guess.
She's been hired by BS.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Yeah. There's too much to dive into there.
We filled our quota. And we're
right at the beginning of the show. Right after we just discussed not talking about it. So it's my bad.
Yeah, I was like, okay, because I said it, and then we all were like, oh, I have jokes. Okay,
It's been a week. It has been a week. I am roast mode for those motherfuckers. So let's just anytime, boys.
Yeah. We we will save the rest for next week on nights when it is just going to be take a shot every time I make a joke about Ben Shapiro. Anyway, Light of the Jedi, the first novel taking place in the High Republic era, written by the one and only Charles Soule.
The one and only, my gosh, what else can you say about Charles Soule? Every single person they've got working on this stuff right now, I mean, they've got their best, top men and women.
Incredible. Just absolutely incredible.
They've got the best of the best working on this shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is the Avengers of Star Wars publishing right now.
It truly is.
Yep.
But Charles, man, what a way to kick it off, though, right?
This is a perfect introduction. These are one of those things where I struggle. I think a Star Wars book is at its best when the first thing you think, either while reading it or once you finish reading it, is I need an adaptation. I need to see these characters. I need to see these events happen for realsies right now.
Yep.
Right. Right.
And that is exactly where I was for the entirety of Light of the Jedi. I do not think there could have been a stronger start. And like I said, this is going to be spoilery, so hold on to your asses.
Yeah, Scotty better not be listening to this until after he's done with all the books, because he's just now about to finish Light of the Jedi. So that's all the shade I'll throw at my co-host tonight too. So there you
go. That said, Conor, I'm going to throw to you first. Thoughts on Light of the Jedi?
So I gotta preface this by saying, when it comes to me and Star Wars books, it's a complicated relationship that I've only recently begun to mend. I'm a very slow reader. Like, it's bad. I got Ahsoka. Like, for example, I got the Ahsoka book by E.K. Johnston about 2 years ago. Still haven't finished it. But I think because, and that's just really that's not a detriment on EK's writing quality. It's just that I take forever to finish a book, even if it's a Star Wars book, which you wouldn't think knowing me. But with Light of the Jedi, half of the reason I got through this book as fast as I did was because I thought we were going to do an entire episode discussion on it, like 3 to 4 weeks ago. So I was like, okay, cool. It's like college. I'll just finish it before the deadline. And that wasn't the case. So I was just like, done it. And I'm like, oh, what do I do now? And then I got Test of Courage. But aside from that, it was an incredibly solid introduction to the High Republic. We get context on the worlds, on the Jedi at this time, on their viewpoint on the Force, the Nile, the Republic itself, and just how they sort of view themselves. And I think one of the most important things, to me at least, was how the Jedi and the Republic actually work together. They're symbiotic. It's like a sort of symbiotic relationship, and not just sort of what we see in the prequels of their two separate
cops.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Wow, the Republic cops.
Yep.
I keep forgetting, for audio listeners, I love that I can say that now. I did a Death Stare Cookie Cop. So for those of you who are only listening still, which
shit, what is he doing right there? Why is he up at the front?
He's upset with the Bombadcast folks, and when I came into the studio, he wasn't on the bookshelf anymore. So,
oh shit. Well,
and I'm
sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. No. We don't want to anger you. You're just as much a part of this as we are. So it's fine. But besides that, though, the Cookie Cop and stuff, you got to be careful with him. But I totally agree, Conor, with the whole it's like the High Republic era so far seems to just be almost what George kind of said he was going to show in the prequels, or what we all imagined, at least, of this gilded era of basically emotionally healthy Jedi. And, which is that's my favorite part of the whole series, of the whole era right now, is that all of the Jedi question things and still are just no, I can be a Jedi still. I'm not, it's cool.
Yep.
No worries. Cool. I don't have to overthrow nobody or join the dark side or any, shit like that. Whatever. And then you've got the way that they work with the Republic. It is very symbiotic instead of the whole distrust that there kind of is in the prequels and stuff. And so I don't know. It's kind of beautiful in a way, but also it has its dark areas. Like the Starlight Beacon thing sounds great. Also sounds a little bit like, imperialism, or like, I don't know, what do you call it? Colonizing.
Yeah. For sure. I think I'd agree with that. I think
we're gonna force you to live our way and stuff, right?
Like, great works sounds kind of sauce. It like legitimately sounds. I think who was it? Maggie Lovett on Twitter.
Maggie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think I know the exact tweet you're talking about. Yeah.
How she pointed out how Chancellor Lena So just seems, to her at least, very suspicious. And there's like,
I think Arzu said something too. Actually,
Arzu, I saw her tweet where she was like, "Everybody, oh, Lena So and her like adorable like giant space lions." Me, I don't trust bitch.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm kind of like in the middle with that.
I'm in the middle a little bit too, because I like it's the best Chancellor I think we've seen, because we didn't see much of Valorum. I think she does good with what she's doing, but yes, there are these cracks in the veneer that are like, okay, what's going on? What's your deal, lady? Okay.
Yeah, like there's something more.
Why do you have badass space lions? That's awesome. Do you ride them to like the Senate and stuff?
Yeah.
That would be sick. Like I don't need a transport.
Like Putin, who like rides horses shirtless.
Yeah.
He rides.
Yeah, he rides the bear he rides the bear shirtless, and then that's the bear.
Did you just say bear horse?
I almost said bear. That's what they ride there.
That's what they ride there. No, he rides on a bear, like much akin to Steve Carell in Anchorman. So just imagine Lena So going, look, I'm riding a furry tractor.
I sound excited. No, okay. So I just want to say this though, real quick. As somebody, you guys have been listening for a long time. It's not a secret where I fall politically. You're not about to hear any tacit defenses of colonialism from me. That said, I feel like the galactic expansion that's going on, it feels like the worlds that are joining are, it doesn't feel like there's a gun being held to any of the worlds that are joining the Republic. And that's where I'm like a little hesitant to be like, oh, this is like straight up colonialism.
It's not straight up, and I love the whole we're all the Republic.
Yeah,
that's kind of a very unifying phrase. In fact, it's kind of what we all would, what Alex Jones fears is the globalization of everything, which is just everyone fucking getting along. And like, City doesn't have a show.
Community is bad, apparently. Rugged individualism is the way to go.
Community bad. Yeah. They're gonna take your brain and put it on a stick.
You see the word community. The word community also sounds like communism.
Yeah. Communism and unity. Okay. Unity and communism. Anyway, you continue.
Hold on. I need to say this real quick. Like real world podcast. I need anybody who has like a kind of weird obsession with the online far right. That I know Gerry and I have, Travis and I have. Conor, you've been smart enough to stay away from most of this shit. I discovered a podcast called Knowledge Fight.
What the hell? That sounds interesting. Knowledge
and
Fight. Conor's taking notes.
No, I'm...
Oh! I thought you were writing down.
I knew he was looking through his
he's actually doing what we're supposed to be doing.
He is. I just want to say real quick, Knowledge Fight. It is a weekly recap and roundup of every week's episode of InfoWars.
No fucking way. I'm going to need to do that because I don't know if you know, there is... I'll give you some sizzle here. There is a Space Alex Jones episode of Bombadcast floating around the surface of me and Scotty's brains. So look for that around early to mid-March. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm pretty sure Knowledge Fights could also just be an apt title for the Star Wars fandom.
That too.
Yeah, well,
But then again, with any fandom,
useless knowledge fights.
fair
Anyhow,
point.
again,
But anyway,
yeah, I apologize. I don't feel like this is as much of a I think this kind of expansion and this kind of colonialism is as altruistic as
Yeah.
like the actual colonizers pretended they were being. Like I think that actually is the intent here.
I
And
think that tracks.
there's some accuracy to that because by the time of the prequels, like there are planets that are well within the Republic's reach that aren't like codified members of the Republic.
Right.
You know, I like by the time, you know, like Tatooine still isn't like technically in the Republic.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So by the time we get there, I don't think that there's any real like gun to your head. Like, it's like that Eddie Izzard bit. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with the comedian Eddie Izzard or not.
I'm not.
Oh yeah,
he-
yeah.
Yeah, he had that bit where he was like, you know, England, like the way that they expanded the empires, they'd show up at a country and go, "Oh, hello, this now belongs to the Queen of England." And they put a flag in it, and then like some Indian guy would come walking up, like, "Actually, no, this is India." Well, do you have a flag? No flag, no country, no deal. Like this is Britain now. I don't feel like it's like, do you have a flag with the Republic?
That's very empire, right? Like that's very galactic empires.
Yeah.
This is ours now. Sorry. I'd agree with that.
There
It's
isn't
not
even a sorry. It's this is ours now.
right. It's almost like if you took the way they teach U.S. history, or they used to me, you know, and it's like, oh, we did it all for the right reasons and stuff, you know, even though we kicked the people out of their land and shit. But it is like, hey, we're going to be out here to help and to maybe give you access to technology you may not have, to like healthcare you may need, to just like services. And the Jedi are very like, the way they portray the Jedi in this is, I don't know how they did it, but it's uplifting as hell. And it is like, you know, we talk about the most Jedi ever, Jedi on Bombhead Cast and stuff, there's so many new Jedi. These are all Qui-Gon Jinns, like kicking in doors, taking names, and saving the innocent. And I mean, I don't know. There's just, there's too much. My brain, I'm gonna just like burp my dissertation I've been like focusing on since I've been reading this stuff and not been able to talk to anybody. So let's just keep us on task there, Jarod. Keep us on task.
No, so that's what I want to say is I agree with the metatextual read.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, oh hey, on the whole, historically speaking, colonizers are kind of bad vibe. But I'm not as distrusting of Lena So as a lot of other people are. And a lot of that has to do with how you were saying, oh, this is the best chancellor we've seen so far, to which I'm inclined to say yes, because the bar is on the fucking floor.
Oh my gosh. It's like our last election. It's like all you've got to do is have a pulse and actually care, right?
Show some empathy and you're good.
You have to like be alive, right? Not do a genocide. Congratulations.
You have to. All you got to do is not be fucking Palpatine, and you're good, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's crazy, and I will say though, there was one book, and I just literally finished the audiobook of Into the Dark, right before we started. Like I just listened to the last little bit of that, and I won't give too many spoilers, but there was like there's like a couple stories intercut. Like we've got the story happening in the present, Connor, and there's also a story they're kind of following from 25 years in the past with a couple of the characters, which is very interesting. But they both kind of involve, like, you know, at the end they intersect a little bit because there's like a planet with a ruler who ends up joining. It's not a big plot point or anything, but she says, okay, just the way that she's like, she says something when she's like, we're going to join the Republic. And the reasons that she had, it was very like, to borrow like that, like the term sus, like yeah, it was a little like, okay, that's a weird reason to me. I don't know, Jared, you just finished. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
I know the scene you mean. I kind of just got that vibe of we're better together than we are apart. That's the thing.
I
And
got
normally,
most of that, but then like it was just one phrasing she said that I was like, that's weird. Why would you say it like that? I mean, everything else is fine, but it's just like I wonder how many seeds are being planted. You know what I mean?
see, I think that's interesting, and we're going to start talking about we're going to get into like some of the more specific plot of Light of the Jedi real quick.
Right, right.
But most of my like, I am watching you, and I'm waiting for you, is completely directed at characters we haven't seen yet.
Right.
Because I am still convinced. I've been saying this for the entirety of the lead up to the High Republic, and I'm standing by it. I still believe the Sith are involved with the Nihil. I still am convinced
That's
that either
interesting.
they are being funded or supplied or aided in some way. And again, maybe it's just the Legends guy in me, but there was a part of my brain that is still firmly in that the Sith are the space Illuminati during the Rule of Two era.
Right. They're in because they don't have the political power that we know of right now, right? Like they get
To our
that when
knowledge,
Palpatine
yeah.
like Palpatine gets in there and is like, yeah, to our knowledge, Palpatine gets in there and he's like, okay, now we can really start pushing those fucking dominoes over. But they definitely are, like, you got to think that's a good, what is this, 200 years or 500?
200. Like, I think
It's 4.
Yeah.
Is it 4? Okay, so 400 years before, you got to think like, okay, funding this group that's like really hates the Jedi and the Republic, to kind of really cause that, like, sow that chaos. That, like, really, because right now, Republic's doing what it needs to do, right? It's like the trains are running on time and we're like going out in a right now, it feels very, we're not scared of people. We're not scared to like take action when we need to, but we're going to really try to stay away from any violence, and we're just going to try to help make people's lives better. Which is like the ultimate, like that is the true version of actually as a wealthy country going out and helping. That's the true version of that, right? Or a true like benevolent government or whatever, is like, we have resources, we're going to go out and help the people who don't have anything out on the edge of the galaxy. If you're the Sith and you're wanting their power, right, you're wanting to start sowing that, like, you're wanting to fund the ISIS, the space ISIS, right, of like these terrorists and stuff, like these criminals, to make the Republic fear for their lives, right? Because what fear, honestly, well, no, I'm not going to quote Yoda, but fear in our real world too makes people into a bunch of morons. It really does, and it makes us just like we're boom, 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 just reacting. So I'm done monologuing, but is that kind of what your head's going to, Jared? Maybe?
I think the Sith of Legends always talked about, we're going to spread our power by contagion.
Yeah.
No longer is it, we don't wear armor anymore, we wear cloaks. And
okay.
I just can't let go of the idea that at the very least the Sith are going to use this opportunity. I'm still, again, we know that the Acolyte is the end of this story.
Yep.
And
50
that
years
is a
before.
term. That is a term that is very steeped in Sithery.
Yes.
The logo looks like it's glowing red, for Christ's sake. So I have a hard time believing that the Nihil are not. Again, I don't think the Sith are the Nihil. I don't think the Nihil are.
No, I know what you mean.
The Sith.
Yeah. They're just sort of.
Sith are like, I'm just gonna push you in this direction, let you do your
just like giving
here.
them like whispering coordinates, or like, giving them a little bit of like, hey, here's a little bit of pocket change, man, like maybe try going for this thing over here or something, like just really
it might be like
putting them where they want them.
You could say it's similar to Palpatine with Snoke in some way.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, something like that. Something
Okay.
like that. But specifically with High Republic and plot stuff, one of my favorite elements of this book is the initial crisis in the way.
Dude.
Now, this is going to be a very, very specific and personal thing for me. Not personal as in like this is like deep, but like personal is like very specific with why this scratched an itch for me. My senior year high school musical was Titanic.
Oh, wow.
And to answer all of the questions, no, it is not based on the movie. No, there is no Rose and Jack. It is a retelling of the actual event through the lens of a musical.
Right.
And it is very... It's one of those things that if you don't understand that it's criticizing it, you think it's praising certain things.
Right.
And I loved it because it was socioeconomic critique of the era and how that reaches out into our current day and how you have the upper class and the way the lower class kind of interacted with each other, blah, 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 blah. But because we are all violent, vicious creatures, human beings are, you didn't go to see Titanic the musical for a socioeconomic critique.
No, you go for an escape, man. I want an escape from my bullshit life.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you want to be like, hey, how did they make a ship stick on stage?
Right.
So
That's right. Like,
Yeah.
is the iceberg? Is someone playing the iceberg?
I highly recommend if anybody gets a chance to like look up, like watch a recording or a production of Titanic, or listen to the soundtrack. It's beautiful.
I'm interested because I didn't know that an actual musical existed that wasn't connected to the James Cameron epic or anything.
It is not connected to the James Cameron epic.
That's really cool.
That did not stop us from making a lot of jokes. But that said, that musical is
That sounds awesome.
very, very beautiful, and for sentimental reasons, because it was like the last musical I ever did while I was in high school, holds a special place in my heart. And I've gotten to see it perform twice, after that. And it is, I realize that it is not just personal bias and sentiment that makes me love it. It is the story itself. All of that said,
That's awesome.
the beginning reminds me of the Titanic musical. In the way that oh my God, we're all going to die. Oh my God, we're all going to die. We're all going to die. Holy shit, we're going to die. We're going to die. We're going to die.
Yeah.
We're gonna die. Is framed. Like I could hear some of the score from Titanic while I was like listening to the audiobook. Like part of me was transported back to that. Like I was, and again, most of the people in the Nerd Academy, again, except for Conor, I went to high school with. So Conor, you would never get this joke or reference, but I remember because Alexis saw I was tweeting about Light of the Jedi, and she's like, "How is it so far?" Because you want to get the hardcover, and she was like, "What do you think?" And I told her, I was like, "I'm listening to the inciting incident, and all I can hear is the orchestration part to get into the lifeboats. Just the way that they're talking about all hell's breaking loose. We gotta get as many people on the ships as we can. Here's the madam step this way into the lifeboat. That's all I'm hearing. And it's that oh shit. But with this ounce of hope. And that it's not even a real hope. It's a hope that you have to that you're obligated to have when all hell is breaking loose. And it's kind of the beauty of that show is the fact that as an audience member, most of the people on stage are about to die. And as an actor in that show, your character's probably about to die. And you can't help but not have that we can still make it in you. So for me personally, I got really specific catharsis from that. And then the message came into it over the holo. It's this is Jedi Master Ava Chris. And I was like, oh, holy shit, we're going to make it. We're going to make it. And then
dude, that moment, I was fucking like crying and like cheer, like yes, like I was at work. I'm like yes, right? Because it's like it hits so good because they set it up. You're right. They set it up like these people are gonna die. They are going to die.
And the only hope you can get from the situation is the heroism of the people who are trying to save lives in the face of Armageddon. And that's the only hope you really get from Titanic in the second act. Because again, like we know what we're watching. We know how this ends because we all have taken a history class. We know that the Carpathia doesn't show up. We know all of these things.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the musical as much as you want it to.
Damn, I have to tell you, Jared,
like,
I'm loving...
With Light of the Jedi, Carpathia shows up. It shows up.
Oh, man. In the best fucking way, too, right? Like, I love this that you're comparing it to, that musical, and just the event of the Titanic sinking. That was fucking huge back in the day. I mean, we're still talking about it. How many years past it? Like, hundreds of years after. We're still, wait, sure. Yeah,
I want to say 1914, so just over
1914. Just over 100. Sorry.
That was 1912.
But that's still, like...
You're probably right, Connor.
Yeah, I defer to you gentlemen, to your scholarly pursuits. But
Connor's the actual history scholar, so I'm definitely going to...
I mean, just say, like, I mean, think about it, like, how many boat sinkings do we, like, think about? Because there was another boat that was like Titanic that sank around that period as well, right? Am I getting that wrong? Like, there was... But we do... Titanic just is stuck in people's brains, right?
Yeah.
Partially because of the branding, maybe, but also just because it was a huge tragedy. It was a huge tragedy. It shouldn't have ended that way.
Nope.
And so much life was lost. And I was thinking, they're like, there's a huge event in this, and I'm like, how can you do a huge event that's not a planet blowing up, or something like? Which essentially what we had, like, one system gets completely almost obliterated, right?
Yeah.
In that book that the Jedi weren't close enough to. But still, that's an excellent thing to, like, compare this to, is the Titanic. It's something that's huge. It's this big moment that has ripples that just ripple out for the galaxy, which is insane. So, anyway.
And it was, I just couldn't
With a sentient iceberg, which is bonkers as shit.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so the entire time, I'm like, okay, like that's how I'm feeling. And this time, like, I got the catharsis of hope out and was able to, like, take a deep breath and go, oh, thank God we made it. That said, the rest of the novel is incredible. Once we get through all the stories, we are going to, like, talk, like, specific characters. So I don't want to get too into the trenches yet on favorite characters so far. I do love the hyperspace manipulation. You say what you're saying, Connor.
No. Interesting point on that is that I just love that hyperspace is in its early infancy, and this was pointed out to me by a friend because he texted me this. It also begs the question of what happens during the Old Republic, because in this case, hyperspace probably doesn't exist in canon in the Old Republic.
Well, if I remember correctly, they were saying that, like, hyperspace is in its infancy, but, like, in a galactic sense, that it's been around for a couple hundred years. It's just like now we're getting good at it, and now, like,
it's like now they've got the Santekas, right, who are mapping the waves.
Hyperspace prospectors, which is, like, the coolest job title ever.
Motherfucking hyperspace prospector, baby.
Dude,
yeah, right?
I'm so down for that.
I love. Okay, one thing I've loved about this is just that they're dropping random names that we've gotten recently.
Yeah, like Staros.
The Santekas and the Staros. Not to get into the weeds on that for sure, but just it is absolutely interesting. It's like why are these guys such a threat? And it's because they fucking shut down the hyperspace lanes. For how long? It seems like for a good while, like
Yeah.
for months at least.
Again, Star Wars
And
is
that's
never consistent with its passage of time, but it doesn't matter.
The story. It's the story. It's how it makes you
is
feel.
what matters.
But
Well,
if just you can't get people food regularly for like however long,
Yep.
not good.
Yeah,
Not
no.
good.
They really got into the sort of, like, broadly speaking, I felt like Charles and just the story group in general and just Lucasfilm really started to sprinkle in some of the sort of socioeconomic push and pulls, per se, of the
Yeah.
Republic between the different worlds that we saw. And I found that supremely interesting because this is 200 years. This is 232 BBY, approximately 200 years before Phantom Menace. And it's just so interesting to see these sort of quote unquote real world parallels just inserted into Star Wars in such an organic way.
Oh yeah.
Really.
Oh yeah.
So
That's it. Which Star Wars is never about our real world at all.
yeah, no,
It's
Star Wars is
political or
never
anything.
political. Like,
It's never.
ask George
But
Lucas.
That's what makes it so fucking interesting, though. Is that stuff that is in there? And it makes you question and think about your morals and
Yeah,
like
'cause
what is
I
truly
think-
moral.
I think
The Jedi themselves are doing in this book, and I love it.
Yep, agreed. Like, that's the one thing. I'll get into what really catapulted me more into the Jedi, which is not a surprise for either of you, or those that have been listening, but like, it came to me more in Test of Courage when I was reading Test of Courage, but just I forget what I was going to say. Oh, wait. How each Jedi perceives the Force is just incredible. It's very personal to them, and it's very they sort of encourage it, really. And it's not just like
it's
codified.
Not uniform.
Yeah, it's not uniform. It's not codified.
If I can give an analogy on it, it's like growing up in church and stuff. It's like you read about the Pharisees and Jesus, right? They were like the religious leaders of Jesus' time, and here comes Jesus, supposedly, and I'm not to get too in the weeds and all this shit, but supposedly he's like, I'm the fulfillment of all your prophecies, and they're like, yeah, but if you're coming in here tearing stuff up, we don't have power anymore. So it's kind of like it's like that thing where
which Test of Courage also gets
Yeah.
into.
Yeah, it's like that's the Jedi aren't pharisaical yet, but it's just very like like I love that about these Jedi and stuff. It's like we're on a journey now that's going to end in darkness, unfortunately. But it's so optimistic right now. It's so
Agreed.
optimistic.
And I
love
think
it.
just one final thing I'll say before Jarod moves on into Light of the Jedi is the most common thing we all hear in Star Wars is "May the Force be with you." And it's gotten to the point, for me at least, that I hear it so much that it kind of is diluted and it sort of starts to lose its meaning, per se, that I can't remember when specifically. I think Loden says it to Bell or to the family on Elfrona.
I think so. Yeah.
In the middle of the book, he says, "May the Force be with you," and it just hit me like a ton when I read it, because to me, that saying in the High Republic to me takes on a different meaning of this almost mythical sense of "May the Force be with you," in a spiritual sense of guiding you to where you need it and trusting in it. So
it's more spiritual there, whereas it feels just like something people just say.
Yeah, like
in
good
the
luck
modern
thing.
films, right? It's like,
Which
hey,
it
may
is,
the
like
Force be
it's
with you.
originally intended as good luck, but just
it's like Godspeed, right? Like Godspeed Rebels or whatever. Like for our real world, Godspeed. But like if you go back in the day, it's like it means something. I'm really trying to give you courage for your journey. I hope that it goes with you. And so I 100% it hits so much different.
Vamp for a second. I have to pull one thing up. Okay, this is gonna take forever. Never mind. The big opening number for Titanic is called "Godspeed Titanic." I'm bringing it all back. Anyway, listen to Titanic.
As soon as we're done with this, I'm going to I hope it's on Apple Music because I'm gonna fucking listen to it.
It is.
I'm serious. Jared, you have no idea. I was in musicals too, like in high school and even a little bit after and stuff. Like I love that shit. Like I am a musical theater nerd as well, and so I am psyched to listen to this because I love that. I love just the history of the Titanic and stuff like that as well. So.
But no, so that said, there's another fun little canon nugget I really like about this, and I don't know if this is intentional.
Let's be real here. Let's be real here. Probably was.
Okay.
The story group.
It is the story group, but I mean, like, I think the story group finally ended the whole, it's effectively ended the Holdo maneuver debate.
Okay, people have been saying, I've seen allusions to that on Twitter. I've not seen
anybody bring this up. I've not seen anybody bring up how this completely puts the Holdo maneuver bullshit on ice.
Explain because I can't really.
Yeah,
remember. I know it because they're doing the weird maneuvers and stuff in there.
I've seen some people allude to this.
So during the big final battle, one of the Republic people go, they're doing micro jumps. You can't jump to light speed to 10 feet in front of you. Your odds of killing yourself jumping a small distance is so much higher.
It's been so long since I've listened to Light of the Jedi. I forgot that they do that to them, where they're just flipping all over the place.
And it's so much more of a danger to
I forgot how sadistic of a tactic that was for Marchion Rowe. I completely forgot about that. Not to get into all of that, but just
no, that's important. Though.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I'm okay. Well, aside from all of the other explanations of why didn't they just make the jump to light speed into the Death Star? They didn't have enough ships. They wasn't strong enough. Blah 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 blah.
It's not. I'm sorry. It's not cost effective. It's not cost effective because you have an empire that has an endless wealth of. We're not going to get into this right now, okay? Yeah. I mean, just stop. Just stop it. My brain hurts.
That whole explanation of even if it works and you mess up the other guy by jumping just a little bit, you've also completely thrown off the way that everybody else is moving. And you've now caused a massive, massive crash.
Yeah.
And nobody's crazy enough to attempt that. So I love that Light of the Jedi effectively just puts the kibosh on all of the people complaining about.
Yeah, but all the people who are complaining about that aren't going to read this because they think
they can't but read. Apparently, according to them, the High Republic. But according to those people, that's the best part, Gerry. They're the High Republic launch was disastrous. Lucasfilm's just trying to take away
buying
from
their own
success.
Books and all this shit. No. I mean, you know how many people we were all jazzed. Even if it was just all of our Star Wars Twitter bubble, that's a significant population. Yeah. Okay, it is a significant population. I think it's hilarious. I actually put the numbers in front of someone's face trying to say it was and the next time someone brings up that it was disastrous, I'm or that it's dumb, did you read the books? Did you read them? Because they're making fun of the Drengir and stuff from the next one. The Drengir, they're the Jedi are scared of plant monsters who look like the Sigmund the sea monster. I'm motherfucker, these things are terrifying as fuck, okay? Have you gotten to the book? Have you read the book? It is like Prometheus with meat-eating plants that is fucking insanely terrifying and amazing. That's all I'll say.
So, Jarod, I just wanted to add on to the whole Holdo maneuver thing because when I saw people alluding to it on Twitter while I was in the midst of reading it, I never picked up on the fact that it was in the final battle near the end. I thought it was here on page 180 when I can't remember which Santeca says it, but he says the nature of hyperspace means that there is never any reason to maneuver at all. It's empty. There's nothing to hit. Routes are precisely calculated to ensure collisions like this are impossible. So I thought that was sort of the thing people were referring to when they were saying, "Oh, this takes the Holdo maneuver and just sort of solves it."
Yeah, I mean, there's all. I mean, I think that plus, in my opinion, like the tactical reason.
Yeah,
Right.
In pitched naval combat, there is no reason to do that because all you're going to do is cause carnage for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I want to ask.
It's dropping a bomb. It's raining fire like in Endgame. It's like it.
Yep.
Yeah. It's gonna kill everybody.
So I just want to ask you both. This is a sort of before we read all these books. When we heard about the Great Disaster and saw the Starlight Beacon, who else thought that the Great Disaster was going to be that the Starlight Beacon was going to get absolutely obliterated in some way?
I did think it had something to do with the Starlight Beacon. more to do with the Starlight Beacon. Yeah.
I thought the opening of Starlight Beacon was like met with a Nihil invasion.
Yeah.
Like I thought they just tried to bum rush Star Hill. Fuck. I thought the Nihil tried to like bum rush Starlight Beacon. That's what I thought the Great Disaster would be. Not that it was just, an
actual
Starlight
disaster
Beacon on the way, and then again, like coming back to the Titanic comparison, and Gerry, you made the joke about only it's a sentient iceberg. It's not even like a sentient iceberg. It's like there was like an extra military power that was like, oh, hey, there are all these incredibly wealthy and powerful people on this one ship. Drop an iceberg. Like dropping an iceberg was an act of war. Kind of like light speed, like sideswipe the legacy run and went, hey, boop, and like love tapped it into just.
Did it love tap it, or did it just it crossed its path? Right, they were going this way, and they just were like, whoa, like right in front of them. They T-boned, didn't they?
They were going to T-bone, and they were like, we're going to go past the legacy run.
Right.
He knew they were going to go, oh, shit, and try to do one of these, but it would, like, rip it apart. And, down to, like, the vector that he was like, okay, if I come in this way, they need to try to turn that way. So I'm going to end up creating this, like, weird cascading effect to just turn this into, like, a sublight meteor shower of death
in several systems, which is insane to me that it's like the pieces of the same ship are just reverting to real space randomly, and just
there'll be pieces of us in 3 different systems.
Wow. Shit. That's awesome.
I think that's the line. I'm pretty sure that's the line, yeah.
That is
right.
Pieces of us in 3 different systems. That's amazing. Yep. I love that.
Well,
just the Falcon though.
Thing with this whole evil plot and everything is, if you look at now the 3 greatest threats to the Jedi, the Sith are just other Jedi but evil. Like it's an absurd reduction and hyper simplification.
Right.
But like we're all like they're on even footing. Then you have a group like the Mandalorians that are like, we based our weapon set and training around you can't fly, I can fly. Your laser sword blocks blaster bolts, but you can't block a bullet and you can't block a bomb. And then you have something like the Nihil that's like, we're not going to try to like straight up fight you like the first 2. It's guerrilla warfare. We're going to take hostages. We're going to drop like gas bombs. We're going to, again, like this meteor shower of death.
It's like playing with their morals, their very code, right? To say like, we're going to play with your, like, we're going to take people hostage and like just manipulate you and do things to really work on you.
I try really hard to avoid bringing up The Dark Knight.
Well, I almost made a Joker reference just because it's like it is a little Joker-esque in that it is like here's your moral code. What does it mean? What are you getting?
Because again, then this is a conversation for Nerd Academy or Movie Club, where eventually on Movie Club
I'm open. I'm wide open. Just saying.
Honey, I know. Don't worry. I have plans.
Thanks.
I have made like a little bit of a rule to myself that I try to avoid bringing up The Dark Knight because I can't bring up The Dark Knight without discussing why I have a lot of mixed opinions on the movie because I love it. But as a Batman fan, it kind of pisses me off a little bit. But again,
I'm
not the time or place for that conversation.
But go on. Yeah.
I want to see Martian Rowe go full Joker.
He kind of, I mean, just the way that he
balls on the table. Like, I mean, like straight up the way Joker does with like the organized crime in Gotham, where he's like, hey, the mob, hey, this group, fuck you. You work for me now. Like, I want to see Martian Rowe like do what Maul did during the Clone War and like walk up on the Hutts, walk up on Black Sun, walk up on the Pikes and go, you work for me. Oh, no? Well, I run hyperspace now, bitch. So get in line or get dusted like the fruited motherfucking moon. Like go.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Like I want to see Martian Rowe pull that kind of shit because when he has that kind of firepower, if he can consolidate like the crime syndicates of the Galactic Republic, the way that he'll be able to do something like that to the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
To do that kind of, here's the ferry with civilians, here's the prison ferry, who's going to blow up who first?
Yeah.
Like,
because they are very much like, why you guys are, they're very much like, no, this is the true nature of all beings is what we're doing. Like, we're just honest about it, right? Kind of a thing. Where it's like, yeah, you guys are the same as us, which I'm going off of the whole Joker thing of trying to prove that everyone's as ugly as you, So sorry, there you go.
I feel like we'll see that sort of turn into quote unquote insanity by phase 3.
Well, I mean, just the way that what he does to Cossack, right? I mean, the way he like fucks him up before he sends him out for one thing, and then just completely like uses him to. He's one of the best. This is one of the best, most interesting villains we've had in so long. So there's just so many different like edges to Martian Rowe.
One of the things I love about him is that he's kind of introduced. The way the Martian Rowe was introduced, at least for me, the vibe I got from him was like, I inherited this thing, and that like, at least for me, it felt like he was trying to turn the Nihil into some kind of like thrash metal hippie commune,
right?
Where it was like free
you mean Crash Punk, right, or whatever it is? Like,
yeah, Crash Punk, yeah. But like that, like he's like trying to like he's like, hey man, that we're the Nihil, we do things a certain way with the stilted speech pattern, and he's like doing this whole thing.
Please, can we get, if Martian Rowe is in any live action content? Can we get, what is his name? I'm forgetting it right off the top of my head now. I had it and then it was gone. Mr. Robot himself.
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek. I had it in there. I love him. Was anyone else picturing Rami Malek?
Yes, the entire time.
Because it's like he's so.
I'm terrible with visualizing characters.
Well, I mean, not necessarily in visual, but just like the way he was talking.
That too. I'm terrible with that too.
Calm and quiet. Well, and you read too, but in the audio book, they're like very, yes, Cossack, yes, like.
And I thought this whole time the book is building towards Martian Rowe like going just berserk, and that was the point. Was that like he was the Nihil should be a hippie commune, and again, not to compare him to the Joker again, because. There's that whole joke. Like once you compare,
it's hard not to.
Once you compare something to the Nazis, you've lost the argument.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you compare a villain to the Joker, you've missed the point.
As long as
And
we're
it's
not
like-
all changing our profile pictures to the Joker after
Yeah.
this, I think we're good.
So, like with Marcion Rowe, I'm like, again, like the Joker, it's one bad day turns you into a monster. That's what I thought was going to happen with Marcion Rowe, that he wasn't 100% sold, but something was going to happen that was going to make him want to fight the Republic. The whole time, he's this bloodthirsty lunatic who's just like lying in wait. Like he's just blood dripping from the fangs. Just come on.
He's like he wanted it for himself. Like what kind of? It's like he makes you think like, okay, my dad created this essentially biker gang because that's what it feels like at the beginning. It's a biker gang. We can be so much fucking more. And he's like, no, we can do some really serious shit and like just completely like own the galaxy and stuff, which is a line into the Jedi. Like someone says, like Nihil says it into the Jedi or into the dark. Like, no, the entire galaxy or something, kind of a thing. And it's just very it is like if a biker gang actually, I don't know, had nuclear codes or something. I don't even know. It's weird.
like a biker gang exactly had weapons of mass destruction.
Yes, or just they knew the way to like really we can put governments on their knees before us.
It looks the Nihil
terrifying,
like a caricature of like an anarchist movement if it was radicalized.
Right.
To terror. And I think that's one thing I really like about the way the Nihil are introduced up top in Light of the Jedi. And again, Marcion Rowe. Because again, I'm thinking of him as he's just this soft-spoken, like, man, I just want, again, hippie commune. It's this anarchist hippie commune is what he wants. And it's like, no, I let you. He's like, he convinced all the other storms. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just Marcion. And everybody, and there comes a point where he's like, his internal monologue is like, I know one of these bastards killed my dad. I know what you do. I know what you people do. He's like, I'm playing stupid to play you idiots who aren't playing stupid. You're just dumb. He's like, I'm not even trying with you guys. All of them. Like, and that's the thing. Like, he beats that dude.
So true.
Like the violence, the utter gore of he smashed his hand. Like he did not amputate it. It did not get shot off. This isn't like he smashed his hand.
That is the one that gets me. And the line before, it's Cossack, right? As Cossack is leaving, he's like, Cossack, don't forget your hand, or something, or whatever he says. Like it's something more cooler or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he's basically like, hey, get your meat off my floor. By the way, like
Cossack, take your meat. Yeah. It's very like. It's very like sadistic and it's unhinged without being unhinged. I don't know what it's like. It is that like I have so much anger and violence. I don't fucking care. I'm going to beat your hand until it falls up.
It's that calmness where like a lot of time it almost reminds.
It's like a serial killer or something.
It's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna make another comparison. It's kind of like Heath Ledger, the Dark Knight Joker, had a baby with Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk from the Daredevil series.
Oh my gosh!
Where he's just seething the whole time. Where he's just like
he's got the one table. Their little venue that they have in the middle of nothingness, which is fucking metal as hell, right?
I was like, wow, y'all are metal. Like
they're like, they are not posers, but just I love that he has his own table, and he's like, he sits off. I'm doing my own thing. I don't want any of you fuckers around me. Like
if he had not calmed down at this point, like Wilson Fisk, like I can just see like all the time, just hands are shaking. He's like, I'm gonna take a life and get away.
Have you seen Veronica? Or
Vanessa.
No, Vanessa. Sorry, I went to. Sorry, that was to Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Vanessa.
So, before we move on to Test of Courage, you have any final thoughts on Light of the Jedi?
if I may, real quick, I want to let Conor say something because Conor has I feel like we've not let him talk. But I want to say I thought it was very interesting that they, like a little canon nugget, they didn't call the mind trick the mind trick.
Oh, yes.
The mind touch.
The mind touch, and who was it? It was Avar Chris's boyfriend.
Alzar Man.
Alzar Man. Alzar Man was. I love that. May I say, I ship so hard. I love it. I love that these Jedi are like, no, okay, we'll have attachments, and we're not gonna like.
Well, they say no attachments, but like.
But as we found out, like George is like it can go in there, and it's okay. Yeah, you could go.
No, I love
apparently George is all for the Jedi are all for one night stands, but
one of my favorite things about Elzar Man and Avar Chris's like implied thing is that it's heavily implied throughout the book that they have or are sleeping together, and then the very end of Light of the Jedi where they're like, "Hey, you want to go hang out in the garden?" Like it reads like we could fuck behind that tree.
The garden, yeah.
Yeah, the garden, right?
Yeah, he's like, no one's gonna see us from here. You know that, right? It's like,
oh, that's fantastic. I mean, not to get too much into that. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk. We got tons to talk about this era of Jedi, but like, I just love that. Like, they're talking the mind touch. There was something about that was very like interesting to me. Where now it is just like it is so known as the mind trick. Is mind trick used in the movies as much, or is it just what we've always known as? Okay.
Actually, Gerry, I'm about to take your card away.
Mind trick's
gonna work on me. Only money.
Only money. That's true. That's true.
And
my boy Watto.
This is, you've been fooled by a Jedi mind trick, you fool.
Well, I guess I just mean like that's true. Just like I was thinking, has a Jedi come out and said, I'm going to use mind trick on him or something, which, that's something that I think the Phantom Menace is looking for them to say. But, let me take my drop down menu of powers here. Okay, mind trick. But I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was very interesting, though.
I agree.
It's the mind touch, and Elzar Man's like, no, I'm going to be real with you guys. It's a mind trick. Like, you are controlling these guys. I kind of like his honesty. Holy cow, I'm remembering how much I love Elzar Man now.
I love his honesty. And one other thing, and then we can like wrap up the Light of the Jedi section here. One of my favorite things about all of this, especially with the Jedi, is we are seeing an era of the Jedi where they are what they always said that they were. But we can see the cracks.
Right.
We see that arrogance is already there. We're like, yes, the Jedi, like this is what they always purported to be, what they always said they wanted to be.
Legacy of the Jedi is failure. Luke Skywalker himself and their hubris. Yeah, man, effing Luke Skywalker, space Jesus.
He knew.
He told us, man. He knew. He looked back at it.
Seeing this shit, like with Elzar Man, and you brought him up, and I remembered. Like, yeah, he's been a Jedi Knight for like 20 years. Why? Because the council doesn't like the way he uses the Force. And that's where you're like, it's a bunch of Qui-Gon Jinns. And I'm like, they're almost Qui-Gon.
Not all of them, except for all the ones we're following, but none of them that are on the council are Qui-Gon at all, right?
I think they're.
But they're not. There are no Mace Windu's. I will say that. So.
I think. Okay, you know how there are some people who do the whole like I was born in the wrong era type shit. Qui-Gon would look at the High Republic and go,
"Look at my hat." Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah.
Like, I think Qui-Gon would look at the High Republic.
Should be throwing newspapers on the edge of the street. Hey,
extra, read all about it.
Extra.
I think Qui-Gon would rather be in the High Republic era, because I think he'd get along with most of the Jedi, but there's still that shred of just utter arrogance.
Oh.
Where there's that, we don't like the way you use the Force. There, like you can tell, like the Jedi lose that actual philanthropic touch, where they go, well, we did this for so long that you can't help but become a little cold about it. And I love that you can be
Yeah.
like, I see exactly how this went wrong for you guys, just
Yeah.
as an institution.
Right.
But yeah, that's enough about Light of the Jedi, because you do have 2 other stories to touch on. Connor, final thoughts on Light of the Jedi?
This was, as far as I can tell, the first Star Wars book, but I think just the first book in general, for the actual beginning and the last page of the end elicited a pretty strong emotional reaction to me, because with the beginning, I didn't expect the suddenness of everyone just dying from this disaster, and then with the ending of Elzar Mann feeling all this fear, and how, what's the final line of this book?
Pull it back up. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to re-listen to the audiobook again, frankly, because I forgot how much I loved Elzar Mann. I forgot how much he was just like, he was like Qui-Gon. He was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and that's why I'm not a master yet. Because they can't handle the way I use the Force.
And so on the last page of it says, the worst was not the chaos, the battles, the pain, the unknown, monstrous horrors surging out of the dark. It was what he had seen on the face of every single Jedi the Force had shown him. The greatest enemy of all, fear. And I read that, and I just stood up from my seat.
About Elzar's premonition. Holy shit! Keep talking, Connor.
I stood up from my seat, and I was just like, "Oh my god, dude!" I shuddered.
It's huge. It's huge, because they're like, what scares the Jedi? And yeah, pricks online can like what's scary to the Jedi? I think Darth Nihilus is very creepy. But you've really got to think like the enemy of anybody is fear. We talked about earlier, like I kind of mentioned earlier, about how fear just turns people. It can turn some of us into monsters and stuff, but just the idea that you're in this gilded era, but like now there's all of this like darkness that we haven't had to deal with. There's lines in other books. There's a line in Into the Dark where it's like, it talks about how often you don't have to really ever actually fight lightsaber to lightsaber and stuff. Like, that is a thought that one of the Jedi has. And it is like, right? It's like, yeah, sorry. I don't want to give too many spoilers and stuff, but just like
No. I'm not doing this because of that. I'm doing it because of the connection to another Jedi and their thesis on a lightsaber.
Which
you know
one?
what I'm
Which
putting
one?
down?
I know. Go on again, because
It's pretty easy to tell, Gerry.
Oh, never mind. It's been a little while since I've played through. Sorry.
You got.
Having a lightsaber can make you a Jedi.
Which is actually not the first time it's said. Rebels did it first.
Yeah, you've got like General Grievous, all these other motherfuckers who just like pick them up and like, I can use this. It was just us thinking. Anyway.
But going back to that.
Yeah. Continue.
No. What was your little snippet before I interrupted about Into the Dark?
No. Just that you think about these, like, you've got to think these Jedi have lived, like, how long has it been since the Sith? Like, the Sith have been extinct for a millennia.
Yeah, 1,000 years.
Is what they say in Phantom Menace. And so,
yeah.
Think about this. This is like 200, 400, however long, like just a couple
200 years
before. Yeah, a couple hundred years before Phantom Menace. It is like the time of peace and stuff. They have to do stuff. They have to pull out the lightsaber still. When they do, it's fucking incredible in these books. Holy shit, it's incredible in these books, because they're like, I guess I'm going to have to chop up a dude now. Shit. And not even that. They're like, just like, shit, I've got to use violence. Damn it. But then they're so good at it. It's incredible. I don't even know where I'm going with this anymore, but just like you talking about that line hits very hard. And chodes on the internet will say, like, oh, they're afraid of these, like, space Vikings and the weird plant things and stuff. And it's like, no. You got to realize where we are right now. You've got to realize that this is a time where, like, fear is very dangerous to where the Jedi are. And it probably is a product. We are. We know we're seeing the dominoes getting set up to fall down in Revenge of the Sith right now. So, Jarod, I go back to you, sir, talking about the Sith have something to do with this somehow.
I wonder if they provided the paths.
Well, you've got I don't know. You've got like the Santeca that they have in the
Yeah,
we didn't
but
even talk
I
about
wonder
that. How they have like a Santeca on like what's Marchion Ro's ship called again? The Gaze
Is it the Gaze
Electric?
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
sexy club name. I love that club.
We should start that.
But the Gaze Electric, yeah.
Yep.
Guys, like, it could be something like I didn't think about that. I know they're out there. I know they're out there, the Sith. But until you brought that up, and then like you talking about your stuff too, like Conor, about them maybe giving them paths or.
What if that's their own contribution right now?
Well, now I'm convinced that they are involved with the Nihil somehow. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
And even, like, now I'm very convinced. You guys, seriously, I did not see that in these books yet. And now I'm like, it's happening. It's fucking happening. That is happening. It's under the surface.
Yeah, it's under the surface in the same way that the Aftermath books sort of alluded to probably Palpatine, and they sort of talk about like dark, cloning and dark nature and everything in the Aftermath books, but we're just kind of like, okay,
cloning, dark science, secrets only the Sith knew.
Yeah,
sorry.
They could be setting up Palpatine's return, but when you revisit them now in the context of Episode 9, it's like, wow, dude, this is kind of nuts. Like, this is a clear lot. There
was that line that. Never mind. I'm going to get into Revenge or Rise of the Skywalker if I'm not careful. But I'm with you. It does kind of like seem like there was a little something, but like they are. But I know we're going to look back at this. Like we're watching Acolyte, which I am fucking through the roof for right now. Like I'm anticipating that so hard right now.
Yeah.
We should get into Test of Courage eventually, but
yeah. I want to do like one quickie mini conversation. Elzar Mann.
I love quickies.
Elzar Mann's premonition at the end of Light of the Jedi. Is he seeing the fall of the Jedi? Like, is he seeing the revenge of the Sith? Or is he seeing like some type of Marchion Ro Dark Knight Joker, like pick a planet to save, bye.
I want to say,
is what Elzar Mann is seeing going to be something we see in the High Republic series, or is this like an allusion to the fall of the Jedi?
I want to say the first one, but I think it's more not like the literal like Order 66 fall of the Jedi, but the getting them to. I think he's seeing the trials that they're going to go through that get them to where we see them in the Phantom Menace, where they are just jaded and they are just like, we are bureaucratic, basically peacekeeping force. We're a religion, but we're also a peacekeeping. We're a peacekeeping force. For like we go where the Senate sends us because
not the Force.
Yeah.
Big difference.
It's like the fucking Sokovia. Basically, he's seeing the fucking Sokovia Accords of the Star Wars universe, right? Where it's like the Jedi right now are kind of like, they go where they say like the Republic kind of sends them, but at the same time, it feels like they can still go where they need to be, which was the whole premise of like Tony and Cap were like, oh, we need government oversight. No, we don't. We need to be able to go where the threat is, no matter who says what. I think I feel like, and I haven't, again, Conor, I don't know if you're pulling it up or anything, in the book or whatever, but I don't even remember exactly what the vision is. But just like you talking about the fear, like seeing the fear.
Yeah, that was kind of like there was
Like
just
the
I
tail
think
end.
a lot of
Yeah, but what he's saying in the vision, like that line is like the fear, the pain, like the pain, the loss, the devastation, like shit's going wrong. Like Elzar Man is having a premonition, like he's seeing something happen.
yeah.
Yeah. I think we're realizing that when we came into the Phantom Menace, we thought we were seeing them at their peak. No, this is them like they are full on the decline at this point. It is just like
They just don't see that.
no,
like,
they don't.
I think that's the thing is that like spiritually, I think this is the Jedi at their peak. At the peak of their power, like the most dangerous Jedi are the Jedi of the prequel era.
Yeah,
Because you have a council made up of people like Mace Windu and Yoda and Plo Koon and people like Count Dooku who walked away. Like that is the galaxy when they've like refined being warriors, and that's not the goddamn point.
Yes.
Anyway, we're gonna move
I
on.
fucking love Star Wars. Sorry, I just have to say
is
that because you just really touched the nerd core of me saying that, and so I
mean,
had a
you
little
all
nerd
want
chill.
Nerd Academy, so
I know, but I'm a nerd even when I'm not on here. So.
Wait, I gotta. Yeah, there's the logo. I got to point to the right corner. There it is.
I know it's like this. It's there, over there. Woo!
Test of Courage. I enjoyed this one a lot too. I like it. It's the junior novel, so it's quick. It's this one wasn't my favorite. It's nothing wrong with it. It just it didn't have like the high adventure feel as much as the other two did for me. So, Connor, I'm gonna hand it off to you to talk about Test of Courage because I know you enjoyed this one more than I did.
I really liked it. Like story wise, I think Light of the Jedi was just better because more engaged in story and everything. But character wise, I think this does a bit more character work. I think for me, the two best characters in this book were Vernestra Rowe and Imri. I know his last name starts with a C.
Yeah.
But I'm just not going to mispronounce it on air. Because of Emery, to me, I like Emery. I didn't expect the whole dark side thing. And I was like, oh, okay, this just went like deep. This just went deep and dark, pun intended. Because at first, Emery reminded me of Cal and other Jedi, and I say Cal like sincerely, not as like here's my obligatory Cal Kestis reference on Knights. No, like
you get one every episode, so
yeah, but right. Like when it was described that he lost his master, as we saw in the book in the beginning, and he's sort of lost and doesn't know what to do, and he's a Padawan, and he's incredibly doubtful of himself and his abilities. That was like it just harkened back to Cal in a sense, because Cal was was more confident than he probably should have been. Right, but that's besides the point. And then when it went into the whole arc of him pretty much almost given into the dark side for an extended period of time, it harkened back to Seer's arc and how she gave into the dark side for a time.
Yeah.
And how Vernestra was like Cal in that situation, and it was like, you gotta calm down and trust in the Force, my guy. Which is also what I really liked about Vernestra Rowe. I think because it was a Canon Junior novel, I expected a bit too much out of it from 228 pages, but the setup for Vernestra was really cool, especially how she's sort of empathetic through the Force, and you can tell she's very spiritual with it.
Right.
And which is something I think most Jedi should do and should sort of attain for, per se. And there's a line. There's one line especially. There's like a bunch of lines that are just absolutely incredible. But there was one about the light. I think it was from Siski. Is it Jarod? We talked about
if you're about to mention the line that I fucking this book touched me in ways I didn't think it was going to. Especially the end. The way that, if I may, real quick, while you're looking it up, Conor, because I think you're looking up the same line I'm thinking about. It's when Skier is talking to, I believe he's talking to, oh gosh, what's her name? Well, you were just saying it.
Vern. Yeah.
Vernestra, yeah. Vern, yeah. Oh, because there were not as many characters, you really got to sit with these people. So you really got to know these Jedi and stuff. Like, not that we didn't get the other one, but they're setting up a lot of characters and things like that. But the whole process of her being, quote unquote, a Mary Sue, right? No, I'm not quoting anybody, but people giving oh, Rey, blah 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 blah. Then you got this 14-year-old Jedi who's like a Jedi Knight now and is going to take on
she's prodigy.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's fucking prodigies all over the place, guys. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, she's 16. She recently became a knight, and she's her faith in the Force, I think, is pretty strong.
Yeah.
But,
plus, she has a freaking lightsaber whip, which is sick.
Dude, when I got to that part, because I finished this book probably 10 minutes, about 3 minutes before we started recording. When I got to that part in the book, I was like, yo, what the fuck? I just legit.
And she's like, I want to be careful and not freak Emery out and make him think I'm going to the dark side. But I don't even know.
Yeah. But no, the line.
So cool.
And I think this is the line you're also thinking of, Gerry, is when he says...
At the end, when he's trying to talk her into basically being the master of Emery, right?
Yeah. Most Jedi have felt the temptation of the dark side. It is only natural, but we resist it. It is a deliberate path to the dark, not a series of bad days. Being a Jedi is about choosing the light over and over again. It's very, very similar energy to I choose the light because it is the light from Master and Apprentice.
Okay. Yes. That entire from Skier, who knew that Skier was going to skewer my soul in that moment? I was bawling because I don't think it's any I'm not very precious with the shit going on in my life right now, right? I've had a lot of shit going on. I've had a marriage end in the last year and stuff, and it's just kind of been a shit year, right? To hear, there was something about the way that he put that. About it doesn't because what is it oh, she's thinking are they going to get rid of Emery because he kind of went to the dark side?
Yeah.
But to hear Skier say that whole, especially the part where he's it's a series, it's a deliberate path, not a series of bad days. I'm serious. I'm not, this is no embellishment. I started bawling in my car when I heard that. I was bawling in my car because it really, it just hit something in me. That thought of, you think that's how we approach we approach a lot of things like that. Star Wars is very big. It touches our lives in it makes us believe in redemption, when we don't think we deserve it, right? It may you may think you're the fucking worst piece of shit on the planet. But him talking about it's a deliberate path. It is not a series of bad days. You're not a bad person because you've had some bad days. That fucking spoke to my soul. What is the last part he says or something? He's it's the light. You've probably already gotten rid of it, but
every day, yeah.
I choose just to get up and choose the light every day.
Yep.
That is so fucking accurate and stuff. So I have to say, for that part alone, this book has been elevated for me just because of where I was at the time and just how much that line meant to me. I had to rewind it and listen to it again to make sure I had it in my brain. I still kind of forgot it, but I love Conor. Thank you for bringing that up, because that seriously is like the best. Honestly, it's my favorite line of the entire era right now.
Dude,
It's a banger. It rocks hardcore, man.
Dude, it does, because like there's a lot of Force philosophy and spirituality in Test of Courage, both for the light side and the dark side.
Yeah.
And just like something I came to, this is a small side bit. No, it's not in these notes. It's what Google Doc. There we go.
You're such a good content creator. You're like, you get your notes and stuff.
So,
I'm just like, that part made my eyes cry.
yeah,
my eyeballs were wet when I read the thing.
This had movie. Have you ever seen? What is it with Tropic Thunder? This head movie makes my eyes rain. Remember that part for that movie?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
Simple Jack. Probably not something I should be repeating on here, but hey,
you're fine.
Yeah,
but no, related to just the Jedi in general, I've realized it actually came to me like probably an hour ago or so that Fallen Order is sort of this. It has this. There's so many similarities to other Jedi stories and just sort of quote unquote the Jedi hero's journey, both in stories that we've seen in current canon and in the old EU, that it's almost a sort of greatest hits per se.
Yeah.
But it also creates its own thing by sprinkling in so many Jedi aspects that, for me at least, it's just so almost instinctual to pick up on them in other stories.
Absolutely.
And Test of Courage by Justina Ireland is no different. Like, it would be great if someday she was interviewed by someone and just they talked to her about, you know, her process of writing this and like how she came up with these characters and sort of how she sort of came up with this philosophy of the Force that she wrote in the story.
Yeah.
Really.
So, I'm gonna put a challenge out to Pete Fletzer to get her on then. I'm sorry, because that does need to happen, and not to take it away from anyone else, but I agree, because that book, the entire ending of that book, and you just finished it, right? Like right before we got on here.
Yep.
Whenever Vern goes to talk to Emery about being her Padawan, I love it because she's like, okay, this is going to be real. She's like, this is going to be awkward and weird.
Yep.
Because we're like the same age.
Like kicked your butt too.
Well, yeah, and like, but he's like thinking that he's like about to get just expelled because like I went to the dark side, man.
Not only
and to have that. Go ahead, Jared. You've been quiet this whole time. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite, and you guys are minding a much more meaningful and entertaining conversation than I can. I just want to say, and maybe it was because like listening to the audiobook and me wanting to make sure that I did get it in before we recorded, that I did have like the audiobook sped up. It felt like that fight went by really quickly and for good reason. Like,
it wasn't long. It wasn't long. It was just like she knows how to get him, like right there.
It was you were like, yeah, she just kicked his butt. Like, no, she took his fucking lunch, man. Like that whole, she's like, okay.
Made him eat it in front of her.
He's like, okay, we're done. Light whip mode, and just yanked it out of the pan and then filleted it in the air.
Well, I love it. She's like, we're not going to do this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're done. Boom. You're not doing this. I'm not letting you do this. Oh.
Yeah, dude, she's a top 10 Jedi for me.
Wow, already?
Yep.
Damn, that's cool.
I've
got one in the next book, I think.
Yeah. I think so, at least, Jared. I'll have to really, like, think on it more.
I think I might have a couple in my top 10 now already, honestly.
Avar Chris?
You saying
Avar Chris is the one for, I think, all of us, right?
Yeah, Avar Chris is definitely already up there.
Elzar Man.
Elzar.
Loaded fucking Great Storm.
My favorite
Holy shit. Who? Sorry?
Zetafar.
Zetafar?
Yeah, Zetafar, yeah. I really like him. And I think sort of, and I talked about this on Twitter a bit. I think what High Republic has sort of reinforced for me, or sort of exposed per se, is the type of Jedi I'm most resonated. I'm most like, what's the word?
That resonates the most with you.
That resonates the most
for
with
you,
me.
or like you identify with.
I identify the most with is that sort of Padawan becoming a knight, or someone who recently became a knight and they're very doubtful of their abilities, their themselves, and their faith in the Force, like because of this change per se. So
Oh yeah,
I've realized that, and just how they overcome that.
Well, I will say, because I said, and this is my fault, because I was like, I want to avoid specific character stuff. Because I do want to talk
it's hard not to when you're talking about it.
I was just I want to talk about our favorite characters at the end. I want a book that is just Loden Greatstorm and Bel Zettifar. I want just them working together.
They were so good. Not to take anything away from them. They've introduced so many characters over the last 2 months that I'm like, I didn't know I needed these people in my life, but now I don't know what I would do without them.
Well, there's something about
Loden Greatstorm, seriously, and Bel. Oh,
well, there was something about Loden Greatstorm. And maybe it was just the way he was drawn, and like the way he was presented in the concept art, that I was expecting, like, I don't know, Gandalf. That I was there was a part of me that was expecting,
interesting
like,
thought.
do not take me for, like I was expecting something that was not, the goofy, hey, I'm gonna throw you off the ship now. You're gonna what? Bye. Like
that he has, the sense of humor, but also just the sense of what is the word I'm looking for?
Purpose.
The sense of purpose. Well, just the
so
night, the sense of Jedi Knight. Well, responsibility, but just like I'm trying to think, not chivalry, but just like that knight, like a knight. Like a knight, like he's a true Jedi Knight, right? Like he's got like that whole like that protectiveness for the weak and stuff, but also just like, I'm gonna joke around with my Padawan because he's cool. I like this kid, and like just that. I love seeing all these Jedi who are like I said, it's the most emotionally secure Jedi that we've ever had. All of these most of these Jedi are just like, I kind of think differently, but that's just me. That's my thing, and so that's okay.
You're ostracize me because of that.
Yeah,
it's incredible. But Loden Greatstorm. And that ending where he ends up like he is being held by Marchion Ro, like what the fuck's gonna happen?
Dude,
I don't even remember. I have to listen back because I don't even remember where he disappears. It kind of came out of nowhere for me. I was like, okay, wait. Why is he there? Holy shit! They have Loden. What? I lost it somewhere in translation, so that's just. Loden's a great pick, man. Like, I don't know, that whole sequence with them, and we need to move on because I'm going back to Light of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Where they land at that like compound, and they're like talking to the guards. They're like, no, you got a ship. You got to let these people on. This is like a catastrophic event. We're not doing it's the whole class thing you're talking about. Holy shit, there's so much you can talk about in this.
I also, like you said, there's something I love about the whole, like, Jedi thing of, like, you're gonna let me go. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
And normally,
what's my little friend got to say about it?
That's normally, like, a bad guy thing, where it's just, like, you flash the gun real quick. But I love how the Jedi are like, hi, I got the thing on me.
Yeah,
like,
can we please come in?
I have peace. I have the peace. Like, both spellings. Like, I'm a peacekeeper, but I also have
I have a peace.
Okay? Like, we don't need to make... I don't want to have to make peace with the peace. So
Yeah, but I'll do what I can.
I could cut you up into pieces if I
I will do what I need to protect the innocent. This is what I love about this whole era of these Jedi, is that they feel more authentic than what we've even gotten, which is insane to me. I didn't know they could do this to me, but they've done it. Thank you, Charles Soule, Justina Ireland, and Claudia Gray so far, and all the other writers that we haven't seen their stuff. But thank you, but also fuck you, because I didn't know I could care so much about all this shit, and now I'm like so fucking invested.
Now, okay, I want to move on to Into the Dark real quick, and I want to open this conversation by exposing.
This is between you two.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say.
That's
Connor, this is college.
That's another part of the reason why I bowed out for Test of Courage. Perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Like the
Damn
Force.
Thanos, I like it.
But I was not in love with Into the Dark.
Okay.
Until the twist, where they were it's like a series of twists. Like all three of the stories, 3.5, all come to a head. Like once they get off of the station and they get back to Coruscant, they're like, "Oh man," deep breaths, and then you have the, "Oh shit, oh no." It wasn't guarding the dark side, or like these are idols.
They weren't containing the dark side. Yeah, they were
containing it. Oh no! And then you have like the plot line with the pilots and the freight haulers. Where they're like, oh yeah, with the girl, she's like, oh my god, like you knew this whole time, you son of a bitch. You have that, and then you have the big one where Silas goes, "Oh yeah, that sweet girl. She was so nice to talk to. Oh my god, she's in the Nihil. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit." And it's like that because you get the moment where he finds out about his master, which I liked a lot when they drop you in like straight in to Into the Dark. I didn't realize it was going to be happening concurrently with Light of the Jedi, where it starts out and it's like, oh yeah, hi Jedi who died during that final battle. And you go, oh no, I don't know where this is going. But like I was enjoying it because again, it's Star Wars. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then like it's boom, 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 and it's just like, here's how bad we fucked up. And it seriously really gets me.
It seriously felt like, tell me you didn't get like Prometheus vibes and stuff. Like when they're on the station and even when they leave and like, we've got to go fucking back and stuff to fix this or something. Just the whole like being there and feeling like the ancient evil or something. Which, Connor, if you want to go get a drink, man, go for it or something. Like I would understand, but talk about. I've got so much that I love about this book. A lot of it has to do with the characters, honestly, because if Claudia, yes, good sir. Connor, those listening on audio, Connor just took his headphones out, so that is a good man, dude. The characters in the book, which Claudia Gray can write new fucking Star Wars characters that I care about instantly. Like how insane is that? But just the whole, like you're talking, like having that whole layer upon layer. I wasn't as interested, like whenever we're like cutting back 25 years in the past, right? To, I'm trying to remember the names. I just finished listening to the book. But the older masters, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got essentially, what is it? A Padawan, a Jedi Knight who is a former Padawan. I know Reef Silas' name because that's what I was going to say. Reef Silas is I think he's one of my sleeper hits for this entire, like, I will do anything for Reef fucking Silas. I love his whole journey through the book where he's a bookworm Jedi, right? He's like, I'm going to be an archivist. And then his master's like, no, I want you to go out here to the Outer Rim, right? I want you to go out here and I want you to, this is something important that's going on right now. And we need to be a part of it. And I think you could really use a little bit of getting out of your comfort zone and stuff where you've got the other, like the Padawan before him, the Jedi Knight who he's friends with. Trying to think of his name too. Anyway.
I'm trying to get all the characters pulled up.
No, you're good. I should have, again, like, notes and stuff are great, right? They're so good. But I keep wanting to say, like, Dez? Is that what it is?
It's Dez, yeah. I'm trying to find his full name.
Okay. Dez, being like that big brother, but also less of a big brother and more just a good friend, right? Being the Padawan who came before Reith for his master. And then you've got, again, the two old elder Jedi that I don't even know, man. They just... I kind of loved their whole, like... Every single Jedi in this had some interesting aspect to them. That's been the whole thing with the New Republic, or the High Republic,
yeah.
Right? Is every one of the Jedi have a different way of looking at the Force, and yet they don't feel like they have to force it on other people, right? That is the cool thing about the Jedi of this era and everything. Welcome, Conor. Welcome. The cool thing about the Jedi is that they have these like differing like views of the Force, but I wasn't expecting these like elder members of the Jedi. One who was an Umbaran. I'm trying to remember her name. But
that is Orla Jarani.
Orla Jarani, and then her she's becoming a way seeker, which is a different.
So I want to talk about the
Jedi
for a hot second because I love.
Go for it. Yeah, let's do it.
I love the concept of a way seeker because it is the closest we are ever going to come to making the concept of the Gray Jedi ever fucking matter and ever make any sense at all.
It is the only Gray Jedi closest thing to a Gray Jedi I will accept because I just don't like the whole edgelord thing.
Gray Jedi serves one purpose and one purpose only.
Fan service.
No, I mean like one legitimate purpose beyond wanting to have a character.
I agree with you for some people who like the Gray Jedi, right?
I think that the Gray Jedi, in the way that it is mostly talked about, you end up creating a character that is allowed to be, or it is created to be morally ambiguous so that you can play as them in a video game.
Yeah.
I think the main purpose of the Gray Jedi that it serves in the current canon, in the current interpretation of the Force, is to be a distinction for Ahsoka Tano alone. Like, I think, because, like, again, I like the term Dark Jedi.
Yeah. That's an oxymoron. It's an oxymoron. It's a screen door in a fucking submarine.
Well,
right?
It's a good it's a good identifier though for a Kylo Ren or an Asajj Ventress.
There's someone,
right?
Not a full Sith acolyte. But,
you do not subscribe to Sith ideology, but you are clearly a dark side Force user, and you were brought up by the Jedi.
Right.
I think the Gray Jedi is kind of the light side version of that at best. And like, again, when you use it as a signifier, that's why the term Gray Jedi like frustrated me for so long, was because it was like, like
you just want to be a Jedi. You want to be a good guy, but be able to use Force lightning and Force choke. That's all you want, right? Like you want to be able to do that fucked up shit and not have the consequences.
You can make an argument for that type of character. Like I think Kyle Katarn, with his whole like, there's no such thing as light side and dark side. It's all about how you use those abilities, and I think Kyle Katarn's interpretation of the Force has merit, and I think you can talk about it. I think a conversation about that type of interpretation of the Force would be interesting. But I like the concept of the Way Seeker in the title definition of the Gray Jedi that it is, y'all are right for the most part, and we're on the same page. We have the same end goal, but I'm not down with the whole council thing. Y'all can count me out on that one for a bit.
Yeah. No, it is what I like. And can we replace Gray Jedi with Wayseeker, please? Because I'm just
it'll start to mean the same thing. It'll turn
That's what it is. It's just except with less. Well, I'm a Jedi, but I'm also kind of a badass, and I get all the chicks and shit.
It's a better name too.
It is a way better name. It's a more It's a more George name, honestly.
Yep.
It is a more, in my opinion.
Because the Jedi Wayseeker is literally, I'm going to go do my own thing.
I'm going to forge my own path, but still hold to the light.
Part of the order. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like.
What about the whole, okay, not to give into too much.
So what you're saying is I'm really going to like Into the Dark.
I think you're going to fucking love it, honestly.
Yes. Because this will be the first Claudia Gray Star Wars book I will have read. And I do have Master and Apprentice.
Really?
But I'm saving that until after I finish.
Connor, I can't wait for your cherry to be popped, my friend, because Claudia Gray is like a fine Star Wars literary wine.
Dude, I've heard she's the GOAT in terms of Star Wars literature.
And I will give you a list of every one of her books she's done since then. Like, Leia, Princess of Alderaan shouldn't have been I don't know. That sounds really sexist to me to say it shouldn't have been good. It was fucking incredible. Like, people were all like, "Oh, the Legend of Luke Skywalker is going to be the go-to book for the Before the Last Jedi." Road to the Journey to the Last Jedi. Like, Leia, Princess of Alderaan was part of the Journey to the Last Jedi.
I remember.
Was infinitely better, and I love both of them. But it's so.
Didn't she also write Bloodline?
Yes, and what some still consider one of the best of the new canon books,
Lost Stars.
Wrote Lost Stars.
Yep.
And
yeah, because I feel
the girl just writes fire. I've been talking about this all week. The girl just writes fire.
Yeah, because before you guys start talking more about Into the Dark, I feel like for me at least, Master and Apprentice is going to be, with the Jedi, is what Lords of the Sith was for me for the Sith, in terms of just like how they were viewed and just how expertly they were sort of written, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
No. I get no. Claudia writes Star Wars. I think she is okay. People always used to say Timothy Zahn. Claudia is the Timothy Zahn of this new era, and frankly, after Timothy Zahn has written a couple of novels, there's no contest. She gets Star Wars on a level that most of us don't, or she gets it. She gets it, and she knows how to write it in a very compelling way.
Maybe it's the Legends part of me that's never gonna die. But I'm still holding on.
That's okay.
That they get James Luceno to write one of these.
Well, James Luceno is very good. Wait, didn't James Luceno wrote Tarkin?
Yeah, that's Tarkin.
You're saying a High Republic novel, though.
Yeah.
I wonder.
James Luceno on this, though. He's one of the goats from the original era, for sure. Yeah.
If I can get like something
I'm
like
on that.
or the Rise of Darth Vader, but in the High Republic, I'll be happy.
I wonder how TV writer would. I wonder how much TV writing differs from novel writing, because there are a few Star Wars TV writers that I would like to see do some High Republic stories.
That's definitely an easier transition to make from one to the other.
Yeah.
It is easier to like drop screenplay format to write a transcript and write a book than it is to go from writing a book to writing a screenplay.
Right.
At least that's what I think it would be easier to like make the transition. I think I don't want to say it's a one-way street, but one of the lanes is better paved than the other one.
Yeah. No.
For sure. Yeah.
Because there's a few Star Wars TV writers that I think would would do pretty well with the High Republic.
And I want to see
Absolutely.
James Lucino, Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, Kevin Scott all have a TV show. Anyway,
I want to see them all consulting on the Acolyte. Okay, please.
I loved, and yes, surprise, surprise, the man who is sitting in a room, you can only see one, but the man who was sitting in a room with 6 lightsabers. My favorite part of this book was like the really short lightsaber duel. But I love the way that Reef, so it's like kind of just goes, oh, hey man, you're alive. Oh no. Oh no. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God.
Yeah. The Drengir are a very formidable foe. They are not just Sigmund the Sea Monster. I'm sorry, incels. They are not that.
Don't be sorry.
They're kind of
not
cooler.
Not much.
Yeah, they're kind of way cooler than I was expecting them to be.
I was a little like, okay, how are you gonna do this? A plant monster? Okay, terrifying, absolutely terrifying, and just like the way they talk about like. I don't want to ruin it for you, like, Conor, at all, but just, like, the way they're, like, talking, like, they call everyone meat. And not, like, it's actually terrifying, especially the audiobooks, like, oh, we can go hunt for more meat.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
It's like that, but more terrifying and more like
I was waiting for one of the Drengir to say it, Connor. I was
like meat. They seriously... I love that Claudia has she can like write a serious Star Wars story but still put the Star Wars levity into it. The point where like Reef is like, okay, yeah, well, I'm getting really uncomfortable with how much you're calling us meat, so we're just gonna go. Like basically
was I really love is his character arc. That
yes, thank you.
He goes from like being like hella dorky. Like hella dork.
Not one. He is the opposite of a Luke Skywalker. He doesn't want to go for adventure. He wants to stay and like with his books and everything. He's like us. Right?
Yeah,
like, we don't want to go for adventure. We want to stay home. Right?
He has that energy. Like when they're first on the ship, he just won't shut the hell up. Like it takes him 0.5 seconds to just.
Reef Silas is so good. Oh, I love that.
It takes him 0.5 seconds to start talking and never stop up until the point where he's telling an undercover Nihil everything they need to know about the Jedi. And then there comes a point where like he kind of he gets his groove. He gets his groove. He hits his stride. He's like, no, I'm cool as shit, and I'm gonna do some cool as shit. And he shows up and he shows out and he starts whooping ass. And I love that he kind of gets that humor going. We're like, yeah. And I hate how this phrase is normally used. But like there's almost like an MCU kind of humor to him. Where he does
because he doesn't want to be there, right?
Yeah, you're not even making a joke with how that scene is phrased, where it's literally.
No, I did not paraphrase hardly at all.
One too many times, so I'm gonna go now.
Yeah. He's like, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable, so I'm gonna take my friend. We're gonna go.
There's almost like the scene where he's like trying to like figure out what the Drengir are. It kind of felt like Wesley and Inigo's duel in Princess Bride, where it's like, oh, I see you kept aware on me. Like it's that okay. So you're a plant, but like sentient plants aren't new.
Well, I love that he's like interested in them too, right? He's like,
you're.
Whoa, you were like fully sentient beings that, moving around, autonomous, all of that. I'm insanely interested in studying you, but I don't want to die. You guys are terrifying.
Yeah, so I love it very much. And
Reef Silas, seriously, I was going to say, Reef Silas has almost, I don't know if it's because I just finished listening to it, but there were just so many moments with him, right? Where the moment at the beginning where they first get to that Amaxine station, okay? Which, Can we real quick talk about how they put the picture of it, and it's like the exact same kind of station that Snoke is on in The Rise of Kylo Ren? It's the same fucking station. I think so too.
Oh yeah, that
the
cool
Rise of
ass
Kylo
looking.
Ren station.
Oh yeah, that
Dude.
cool ass looking planet.
Dude, that is in this. That's where most of this book takes place, and I'm like, that makes sense why Snoke is there now. He's showing him like that there's that tie of the Dren gear there, the darkness. I love that the Dren gear are like, people were like, oh, it's like I had like a Nick from Podcast of the Wills. I was kind of talking about, he's like, so is it kind of like the Ysilmari? I was like, no. It's like, it's not like the Force doesn't work around these creatures. It is like, for some reason, they're steeped in the dark. And then they're just like also carnivorous plants who, if they found there were like that even the Sith tried to imprison on this fucking Amaxine station, like the Sith didn't like them and saw them as a threat and imprisoned them there.
I also
that's insane. That is insane.
That's another great scene where like the Dren gear go, you're like the people who imprisoned us the last time. And the one goes, no. The laser swords are red then. These guys got colorful ones. And the way that like Des, like almost under his breath, is like, oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Yes. He's like, shit, these guys are terrible. What the fuck is going on with
like, you're telling me our mortal
Sith?
enemies had to imprison these guys? Like,
which goes back to the whole thing about what do the Jedi fear? The thing that makes their enemies, that scares their enemies shitless.
I seriously thought we legitimately before the High Republic, I was like, oh, they already answered this question. Like, there can't be anything more. And like the High Republic just proved us all terribly wrong.
I'm so here for it. Like, seriously.
I just love the way that like Des and Aura are like, oh, the Sith didn't like these guys. Like, again, I could almost hear the meme Wiggum's kid where it's like, I'm in danger. Well, like,
but okay, I don't want to ruin every little thing for you, Connor. You said you'd forget.
Probably.
But can we talk about when they leave the station, go back to the temple, and where they take those fucking statues? You remember? They take them to the fucking Sith temple that the Jedi temple is built on top of, that Palpatine in Tarkin goes to. That's the first time you find out that the Jedi temple is built. I'm getting into my Charlie Day like red string on the wall thing here. The first time we hear about the Sith temple, right? Yeah. Being under the Jedi temple on Coruscant, they built it on there to like contain the power or whatever. Is Palpatine going down there to meditate during Tarkin, right? And then you've got, because that's the Imperial Palace at the time. That's where we found out that's the first time we heard that that's the Imperial Palace, is the Jedi Temple, is in that book, right? Like Tarkin has some big drops. Like it really does. But that they went back to that they pulled that out, and we're like, because we never really saw how aware the Jedi were of it. But to see them being like, no, okay, we're going to take these weird esoteric idols down here and try to contain it in the Sith temple underneath the Jedi temple.
Lovely idea.
I was so I'm hanging on every fucking word, man. Like, they're like down there, like, and we're cutting to them and cutting to Reith finding out that his girlfriend was Nihil and stuff, like, everything from, and people were saying it gets better once they get off the station. I was enthralled when they were on the station too. I mean, I'm in agreement. You had me from the beginning when they met the pilots, which don't even get. I have an entire diatribe on the pilots, but we can save that for now. But what were you gonna say? You're with me on that one?
I'm with you on. I like it more once they leave the station.
Okay. I liked it when they first got there and just the whole. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I didn't think Geode was real. I thought it was a running joke. I thought I thought they had a rock on the ship and pretended to talk to it. And I thought it was a bit until he just showed up.
Okay, see, so you're okay. Let's just talk about it then. Whenever Claudia Gray on that live stream said we want to meet the pilots of this era too, like who are the Han Solos of this era? You've got Affy and Leox. What is his last name? I forget. Leox Jossi.
Yeah.
And Geode. And you've probably seen the Geode Junky on Twitter now. Geode's my guy, okay? Hold on. So first of all, to say Affy, great character. Loved Affy. That she was adopted by the person who owns their, like, freight company or whatever, right? Kind of like thinking, like I don't know. I loved her whole personality where she's like, what was she, like 14, 16? Her and Reith are like the same age.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no, never mind.
Was her and Reith are like the same age, but they're getting along really well. But there's something about Affy that was just very like accessible, and I absolutely loved the character of Affy. I loved her and Leox's relationship. Holy shit. I absolutely loved Leox's relationship with her because you got this guy he's what would you say, Jarod? Like more like in his mid-30s, early 40s kind of an age guy?
Yeah, he's been around for a minute. I think I don't know, I got the vibe of like a Tobias Beckett, and maybe it's just from the way he's like performed.
A little bit. Well, and can I say that I love that it didn't strike me as a crazy bit. I love that he was a full-on space hippie. Beads and all. Like, I love that.
Space hippie with beads who's also asexual.
Well, yes!
And he was like...
Also, and he's like... But like, the relationship between... You got this, like, probably 40-year-old hippie and this 16-year-old girl.
And a fucking rock.
And a fucking rock, but not that, a fucking sentient rock who is probably my favorite thing to come out of any Star Wars content in a long fucking time. That bit was fantastic. Can we talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's get on Geode.
Maybe I missed something. Is Geode just a rock?
No! He's not, because they actually talk to him. You're seeing it, from Reith. You are Reith. Reith is like, what? That's the whole thing. I love the whole thing where the Jedi are like, okay, like, we're not really familiar.
How did he get off the ship?
Okay, I'm going to talk about that scene. Conor, if you want to bow out, it's fine. But this is my favorite part. My favorite part of the entire book I will get to in a sec. But just to have them come on and go, that's a rock. You're like, no, that's Geode. I forget exactly the species name. But it's a sentient rock. And he moves throughout the ship, right? So it's like, are they fucking with him? But I love how she writes it where it's like they tell things. Like, Affy tells things to, and Leox, they tell things to Geode when no one else is fucking around. They're having conversations with this rock. And they're going like, and then I love the way that she writes it, where she's like, she writes it so well, where she's like, Geode didn't give any did not give any advice back. He knew it wasn't his place and stuff. Just like the way she talks about Geode, I fucking love. And then you've got like towards the end that moment where like was it the master not Orla Jareni, but the other guy, the other older master who really struggles with the Jedi not wanting them to feel feelings. I loved that. That's another thing to get into. I think he sees his shape moving. He's like, was that Geode? Okay. And then Reith doing his like whole thing where he's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. What's that?
Scoverbine.
Scoverbine. Okay. No, that's Scoverbine is the name of the, that's Affy's adopted mother, is it not?
No, you're right. I can't remember. Hold on.
Sorry. I'm sorry because I fell in love with the pilots. Honestly. I fell in love with fucking Geode from the beginning where they're like, I didn't care if it was a bit or not. It was great. there's a whole sequence. Conor, I'm sorry. Seriously, mute me if you want right now because it's like I loved. I'm about to give every fucking thing away about Geode. I love fucking Geode. Okay. So Reef basically opens up that weird. There's like a weird that weird port in the middle of the glass dome or whatever that was for a ship, but not for any ships that they knew of. And basically sucks everyone, all the Nihil and the Dringer in there get sucked out, right?
Yeah.
And he's about to fucking die. He's gonna die. And he's accepting it. He's holding on for dear life to that ladder. And then it's starting to break and he's just I'm starting to cry already when he's accepting it. The way that Claudia writes it is gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that he's I'm about to be reunited with my master in the Force.
Yes, the whole thing. And then boom, and he hits something solid. Whoa, oh, and then everything closes finally. And he looks at him, he's what did I hit? He's no, not what. Who? He hit fucking Geode! Geode fucking saved him from going out into the void! I was pumping my fist in my car going, yes! Yes! Fuck yes! Yes! Yes, I loved that part so much. My favorite part of the whole fucking book.
Up to that part, I thought it was a running joke on the ship to just talk to the rock.
Yeah.
And that they periodically moved the rock as a bit. And the moment I was okay, Geode isn't actually there. Geode isn't real. Was oh, hey, where's Geode? Oh, he went down to the clubs again on the lower level. He's got to stop doing that. I don't think that old man.
I love Geode. I love him
okay,
so fucking much.
Okay, so we're saying the Rock is okay, it's Space Friday night. It's time for hookers and blow.
Hey, man.
I was
sentient,
okay. So I'm okay, so it's a bit. It's a bit. And then Geode saves Reeve. And I'm I got a rock. What?
That was the most, and
Wreath is Charlie Brown confirmed.
Well, yes.
Thank you for getting.
Okay, so it doesn't say who it is. It just says he hits something solid, and he doesn't go out. I knew from that moment, but as soon as it was confirmed, I'm serious, man. People, if you would have seen me in my car, you would have thought I was fucking losing my mind, which I was losing my mind. I was hitting the top of the car, going, yes, fuck yes, yes. Geode! Yes, 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 yes. It was the best payoff for me that I've had in a long time. I feel terrible I'm taking it away from Conor, but I have to say that I am the biggest Geode fan, I think, right now. Just because I believed them when they were there's all these different kinds of species, and he's going around. And can we say, I kind of, my brand is the weird parts of Star Wars. Sentient rock? That Jedi question is even real? Yes, please. More Geode. But the whole thing where it's talk about also the trope of a hippie and their pet rock. Okay? From the fucking 70s. Did anyone else catch that? I loved it. I loved the whole dynamic of Leox and Geode and Affy. I was full on prepared to be okay, she really talked up the pilots. What's this gonna be? Okay? I was blown out of the water. I loved everything. I was crying at moments when when Leox was going after Affy in some parts. I was crying, tearing up at the sentiment that this man was spewing and stuff. What was he saying? Oh, he had a blaster in his little chest or whatever, and he's I usually don't like violence, he said, but when it comes to Affy, I'm gonna do what I can to protect her and stuff.
Yeah.
Just I just fucking love that. On top of the name of their ship, which was very hippie, the Vessel.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I don't know. I'm talking a lot here, okay? But
no, I wanted you to.
Ken Napzok.
Jedi. I dominated the light of the Jedi.
You guys are the first ones hearing my gushing of Geode, honestly, because I've been holding back online, even though I'm a little bit, because I fucking photoshopped myself over the My Pillow guy hugging a rock. I fucking love that sedimentary son of a bitch. I love him so much, and I want to go clubbing with Geode.
I know how you feel, Gerry.
It's so good. It's right up it's like Claudia Gray looked at me and was like, that guy needs a sentient rock in his life. So.
I hope so badly Pete does another episode of Around the Galaxy with you on soon. Only
I don't know when he's maybe for his 200 round or something.
Only for him to get to the 10 questions and be like, all right, Gerry, if you could be any Star Wars character, Geode,
sentient rock, likes to party, knows hyperspace. That's me.
Well, I do like the fact that as we went, we kind of knocked out the characters thing. So,
yeah, now we're kind of just almost done.
Yeah, we're able to kind of wrap up here. So, Conor,
there's still so much fucking stuff left in Into the Dark, Conor. Though, seriously. Yeah. Honestly. We barely scratched the surface. I had to gush about Geode.
Honestly, my biggest takeaway from this is Geode. Yeah.
And I hope that it still plays for you. What I loved about it is I didn't know what was coming. And just to have the confirmation over and over again, just every time was just so good. But seriously, I don't know. It's amazing. Let's move on. But yes, you should know Geode. That is all you should take away from any of this.
We have broken the 2-hour mark, so I am gonna we got a full king size episode of Nights this week. So Conor, where can the lovely people find you, my friend?
Oh, what time is it? Oh my god, it's almost 1:30. They can find
This is the danger, guys. I'm sorry.
This is the danger
zone. Whenever I come on, it's always a long one.
They can find me on on Twitter at DepaBanana, Instagram ConmanJFO, and I admin the Alliance of Star Wars Fanatics, Talswift for short. We're a group that talks about Star Wars in a positive light and constructive and respectful, and that's something you don't really see in this fandom that much. So we like the Jedi of the High Republic. We want to be a force of light.
Brilliant.
So
you love to see it. Gerry, where can the lovely people find you and all the work you do in our fandom that is also very positive and very fun?
Well, you can find me over on the Beyond the Blast Doors network, and I won't go on a full diatribe in danger of this becoming 3 hours. But thank you guys for letting me come on, no matter how long the episodes usually take, because I fucking love talking with you guys, and I know it's every episode I guest on becomes a long episode. So that's just I think the common denominator is just clear. It's Geode, right? So
I've learned of that there are very few combinations I avoid at all costs. I say there's one. I am never going to allow you and Mike to be on the same episode ever again. I am never going to leave room for a very impassioned, and again, I love what both of you are capable of doing. All of that in the same room, that is a gas station next to a fireworks factory.
You can't contain the passions.
You can't
contain the passions sometimes.
So I will take a guy with big Alex Jones energy in Mike, and just that's how he sounds normally.
Yeah.
None of the hate, just all of the intensity. Yeah. All of the intensity. Like, take the energy of burn the freaking frog, gay. But it's about how
best line ever, by the way.
It's about how we are all superhuman at our core. Like, Mike is just like a positive Alex Jones.
That's amazing. I want to be back on with him again, but I know it'll be like a 5-hour episode.
So yeah.
But yeah, you find me on BTB Network, obviously at the Canon Junky on Twitter. That's where I do a lot of my Star Wars and stuff like that. You can find me the obvious of obviouses. Is that a thing? I don't think that's even English. But obviously, you can find me on the Bombadcast. Every Thursday, we go live. We had an amazing episode that Jarod was a part of this last Thursday. Seriously, one of my favorites we've done since we've gone live. So
it was a good episode.
I mean that. Oh man, it was so much fun. I had a blast. And Cookie Cop, we love you. You're fine. It's okay. It's good. I am going to put the iron on the fire under my butt again to get it done. I am going to, in the next couple of weeks, be releasing the first episode of my Marvel podcast, the Cosmic Cube Cast. Just got to get it recorded. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to be talking with Scotty Jarod and Arzu Amen about the golden era we are living in and how, like, just gushing about how lucky we are that we live in an era where we have Marvel, MCU, television, and movies, and how we never thought that was going to happen. So anyway, that's all my bullshit. So
definitely not going to be Cosmic Cube and Nerd Academy crossovers.
No, there's definitely not. There's definitely not, because you kidding me? You guys are going to be you kidding me? You kidding me? Anyway, I'm going to stop because this will be 4 hours.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Brion, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Knaus. You guys help us make the content we love to create. Be sure to consider joining our $5 tier where you get access to the Knights of the Nerd Republic Versus series. Rey Skywalker versus Barriss Offee was our February matchup, and March is going to be bringing Darth Malgus versus Kyle Katarn. You also get access to the Nerd Academy Movie Club audio commentaries and to Travis and my show, Heroic History 101, where we talk about some oldies but goodies with comic book stories. Check out all the other shows in the network. Check out the Elite Trivia Force Down, the new Star Wars fan trivia league that I am a part of, as is Gerry, as is Scotty. Expect to see all of us competing, and I'm just going to tease that there might be a toe-to-toe between the Knights of the Nerd Republic and the Bombadcast in the world.
What you talking about, you Slim Shady motherfucker? I don't even know. I don't know how to. I've got to learn how to do the talking back and forth.
I thought you were gonna say you scruffy looking nerf herder.
You scruffy looking nerf. I don't know why I went Slim Shady. I don't know.
It's because I'm blonde. It's because I'm blonde now.
That's what it is.
I'm blonde again.
Well, the real Slim Shady, please stand up. No, Cookie Cop, stay down. Stay down. Okay.
But yeah, check out all the other shows in the network, the Nerd Academy podcast, Nerd Academy Movie Club, the #1 contender, Campus Life, all of that good stuff. Check out every other show in the network. And please, for the love of God, check out Bombadcast.
Woo!
And every other show in the BTBD network. Oh, and this coming Tuesday, when you guys are hearing this, I am on Around the Galaxy with Pete Fletzer.
The thing that we forgot to mention on Thursday's Bombadcast.
We alluded to it. We made a joke about it and alluded to the fact that I was on. Pete Fletzer. So fun story. We had my episode isn't live. It's a pre-recorded one. So I'm technically the first person Pete interviewed after talking to Matthew Stover, aka the writer of the Revenge of the Sith novel. And I made a joke to Pete where I was like, congratulations on an amazing interview, and one that I was just absolutely riveted watching the entire time. I have to follow Matthew fucking Stover. Like after the conversation I had, I was like, after that, me. Are you shitting me? Really?
And you sandwiched it between John Tague from like television and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, no pressure. I'm going immediately after Stover, and now it's Stover, John Tague, me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's which apparently John Tag is becoming like one of our fans on the network too, which is badass and
I
crazy.
love that. I love
It's
that.
so crazy, but I cannot wait, Jarod, for your episode. Seriously, I'm gonna be like ready to like put that into my brain immediately. So
No spoilers, but I am told I am the first person to give certain answers for the 10 questions.
I'm excited now. Holy cow, I'm excited. Hey, no one's gonna be the first one to give geode except for me. Just saying. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
of course. Yeah. I mean,
All right, I
now
gotta
that
check
we
this
talked about-
out. If not only for the 10 questions, I gotta check this out.
You
It
got
was a
to.
good time. It was mostly about fandom and me getting very it was mostly me being very meta and very touching on some Campbell stuff.
Jarod, why are you just the perfect being for me to like just put my admiration into? I don't know. I love it. I fucking love it, man.
It's a really good time. So go check out the movie Elite Trivia Force Down. My match with Eli from Around the Galaxy is up currently. Check out this coming Tuesday's Around the Galaxy that I am ever so graciously a guest on. When you're hearing this, also on Tuesday, Nerd Academy's out, and we're having Armin and Mitch from Comic Book Cast on, and I am so excited. Travis and Lexi are taking Monday off because that's the day they're going to be celebrating Valentine's Day, and I'm going to be sitting down with Armin and Mitch and having probably the most vulgar episode of Nerd Academy that we've done so far, because we have so much Zack Snyder to talk about, and WandaVision, and we all just like I turn into such a fanboy when I'm anywhere near Armin. So because his podcast was the first podcast I ever listened to. All that said, we are honored that you all have joined us. Check out the Bombad Cast. Check out Around the Galaxy. Check out Beyond the Blast Doors. Check out Elite Trivia Force Down. Check out all the Nerd Academy stuff. And may the Force be with you always.